Adam Mockler is a Gen Z influencer and YouTube star.
And Adam, you want to talk about relatability? I mean, do Democrats have a problem with that on their side?
All right, listen up. This MAGA show will not have me back on because what comes next? And that's not even the main point of this video. This is going to be a little bit of a different video because I want to talk about the broader themes of Trump attacking the media over and over and over. That I'm going to show you this video and show you why these shows will not have me back on. But just to zoom out for 1 second, because it's not even all about me. It's more about the broader atmosphere that we're living in. We just got a story saying that the Disney CEO told the hosts of The View, you know, the show The View, to tone down their Trump bashing. Disney and ABC News have asked the hosts of The View to tone down their political rhetoric. And by political rhetoric, they mean like, hey, maybe we should value the Constitution a little bit more. And this comes off the back of a few weeks ago, 60 Minutes, the main lead producer resigning because the Trump admin was placing undue pressure on them to not cover him during their merger. You'll remember this segment.
Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us. But he did it for us and you. Stories we've pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it.
And so they begin to curtail how they cover that admin.
Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways.
They are saying this on 60 Minutes. This is wild. This is media suppression. And let me point out, 2 days ago, CBS News top boss quits as Paramount tries to settle with Trump. You guys know all of this. You guys know all of this. The point is, we are at a time when the free press is more important than ever. When people who will stand up to Trump it's all more important than ever. People like you who watch these videos every single day. So let me say, I appreciate that more than you know. So I want to show you this clip of me debating on these right-wing MAGA shows because the shows won't have me back on. The Trump admin doesn't want people pushing back. So trust me, watch until the end. You won't regret it. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you drop some blue hearts so that this boosts in the algorithm because naturally, my MAGA right-wing appearances will get deboosted. The shows don't want to have me back on. Let's get this out there. Love you all. Check this out.
Adam Mockler is a Gen Z influencer and YouTube star.
And Adam, you want to talk about relatability? I mean, do Democrats have a problem with that on their side?
I mean, the degree between George Clooney, I bet you he donated a few $1 million, and Elon Musk buying the platform of Twitter, rebranding it to X, and then leveraging that platform to then spread right-wing propaganda. And then on the top of that, on the back of that, donating what? Hundreds of millions of dollars to the campaign. You're not telling me George Clooney donated hundreds of millions of dollars. But I want to ask Rob a question because Trump, after George Clooney did this, wrote this long Truth Social post, like basically a temper tantrum. Does it not concern you all that the President of the United States is currently whining about George Clooney and a portrait of himself rather than actually, I don't know, helping the American people? He's got 2 peace deals falling through right now, and our president is tweeting about a portrait of himself. Does it not concern you?
Let's see. Biden left his country in an absolute and utter mess, which is why
I asked about Trump.
He didn't run because his numbers were horrible, and Kamala Harris lost.
I asked about
all
Trump.
the ideas that they're espousing was a disgrace. Trump is actually fixing the economy. I'm fine with that because he's cleaning up the mess. He's actually getting this country back on the right track.
He's cleaned up the mess so well that his unpredictable tariff policies have made even Jamie Dimon come out and say, dude, we need more certainty. It's made the S&P 500 fall, and the GDP might contract for the first quarter, according to the Atlanta Fed. So, yeah, he's really cleaning up the mess.
All right.
Right-wingers have created such a comprehensive pipeline for people to get sucked in. So I'm a 22-year-old dude. Every young dude at some point in their life goes through like a heartbreak or a dating problem. And when you go to look that up and find out, like, what do? You're going to get sucked into these red pill, right-wing pipelines. Okay, what if you want to work out? You're just interested in working out a bunch. So you're scrolling through Instagram Reels, and inevitably you're going to hit an RFK Jr. Make America Healthy Again thing. So they've created such a comprehensive, boo him. They've created such a comprehensive pipeline that no matter what part of the internet you're in, you get sucked down this, and then once you're sucked down the pipeline, they just hit you with volume after volume after volume, and then all day you're inundated with like a carpet bombing of misinformation and disinformation, and it ends up it's really powerful. And I think that some of the most valuable people here aren't even necessarily the inherently political creators, but are the people who are acting as those pipelines from culture to politics. I was at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. I go to these rallies and I have very respectful conversations with Trump's biggest supporters, and there is one common theme among all of them, and it's that none of them can name a single economic policy from Trump. So when it comes to VP Harris, she has a housing plan for people like Brylan and I, first-time homebuyers, so we get a tax incentive. When it comes to the child tax credit, a $6,000 child tax credit, not a giveaway, but an incentive for people to build families. Also an incentive for small businesses to start up with a tax deduction. And I don't know if this is loud, but I'd like to pose the question to Brylan. Can you name a single economic policy that Trump has for Gen Z? Just a single policy.
Just why hasn't she tried to run all those policies when she ran as a presidential candidate in 2020 or when she was elected vice president that same year? It's pretty disappointing to see that.
Wow, that
really
was
quickly, I want to ask you one more time. Can you name a single policy? Can you name one single policy? Because you completely didn't answer my question. Is it the tariffs?
I think he did, actually, Adam. I think he named quite a number of policies.
But also President Trump.
Imagine you were a soy boy liberal for 1 second. Can you empathize with my point of view? I know it hurts. Empathize. When I see the President of the United States in an unprecedented way, putting his thumb on the scale, trying to attack universities, law firms, the media, for sure. You can't deny he attacks the media. Hasn't he sued multiple, like ABC recently?
NPR.
All of these different lawsuits. Does that not worry you that it's executive overreach? Can you see where we're coming from?
For suing people?
No, not just suing people, but using the executive branch to place pressure on universities and law firms and media.
Do I see that as a problem? Not necessarily, no.
Why not?
Because I think if he's fighting for things that need to be done, then...
What if we replace the word Trump with Biden?
Yeah, if this was a liberal administration, you'd be like, this is horrible. Oh my God.
Well, like I said, sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad.
Okay, so it's only good when it's people you agree with. Got it.
Well, putting your thumb on the scale to influence the country is kind of what politicians and the president do.
No, that's not the
That's not how that works.
Okay, so there exists something called checks and balances. Oftentimes, courts or law firms or all of these things exist as a check on the executive branch. What Trump is doing is intentionally eroding all of these checks by attacking the courts. Even Supreme Court Justice Alito had to come out recently and say, Trump, you got to stop calling to impeach judges. It's not the place of the president to call to impeach judges without due process. So we can go across the board with like courts, universities, everything, and Trump is always applying pressure in a way that he shouldn't be, not as the president, not going through Congress and passing some law. And I just want to know if you can empathize with my point of view there.
I just think that he's doing the will of the American people, and I love to see it.
Wow, what a politician answer. What a politician answer. You're like Vivek Ramaswamy, bro.
And Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. I mean, Adam, you read this. This is obviously a Gen Zer, a celebrity. Come on, I mean, may they never know peace? What do you make of it, Adam?
I think that it's funny you said you were expecting a far-left meltdown and you quoted some 22-year-old actress from Hollywood, but you refused to admit or you refused to acknowledge that the former president, the president-elect, refused to concede the last election. He hasn't conceded to this day. After that election, he made up lies about widespread election fraud, and people stormed the Capitol. So the idea that the far left is melting down because some 22-year-old actress said some cringy, corny thing on Instagram.
Watch me do this without losing my train of thought. Watch. So
you heard the question?
Yeah, I heard the question. Even though this is your fourth mic, fifth mic, what?
It may be, but nevertheless, she persists.
Okay, so.
Because I think there's a lot of people who are really isolated. You know, I'm talking about male loneliness epidemic.
Why'd you point at me? Know when you need to lead by example. Know when you are the one that is right. Because there are multiple times where my audience is like, clash with me on one thing or another, and I double down, and I'm able to win them over. Like right now, I'm debating with my audience about whether Trump is a Russian asset or whether he just is dumb. Because either way, think about it, either way, it has the same end. I'm gonna start debating you all on this because he's a malignant narcissist, that's what it is. That I guess, that works for Russia, is he paid by Russia? There's no evidence he's paid by Russia. That's a conspiracy theory. Offshore, none of you guys can link any, okay, I'm done.
All right, so we know, check your comments and engage with your audience. Thank you, Adam.
That's leading by example. That is leading by example.
We love that. That's in practice.
For example, Tucker Carlson always, for the rest of his career, will have to praise Trump because his audience is full of people who love Trump. So he's captured by his audience. Wait, what question did you ask me?
Yep. How do algorithms shape which political messages break through? And how do you stay true to your values while trying to beat the algorithm?
I feel like you guys are laughing at me and not with me.
No, Adam, no, Adam.